Action and comedy are two of the most popular genres of movies, but sometimes they find themselves brought together with hilarious and ridiculous results. Welcome to Cinema Pills. And today, we'll be going through our picks for the top 10 funniest deaths in movies. They could be intentionally hilarious or just the product of terrible filmmaking. Either way, you're sure to get a good laugh out of them. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, we are always coming out with new content and want you to be there with us, so hit that notification bell. Okay, let's get into it. Number 10, American Psycho. Hey, Paul! Patrick Bateman is one of the craziest killers in Hollywood, played by Christian Bale in the thriller American Psycho. Bateman is a wealthy New York City investment banking executive who is obsessed with being the best at everything. But by night, his lust for blood overtakes him and he will stop at nothing to satisfy.
You want some money? Some food?
Oh, thank you, mister, thank you.
You know what a fucking loser you are?
What?
His co-worker, Paul Allen, caught the bad end of his bloodlust after a night of partying. He had become the target of Bateman after always seeming to outclass him at every turn. In the movie, they come to Bateman's apartment where everything is draped in sheets. He goes to ask Allen, "Do you like Huey Lewis and the News?" He goes on to give a detailed description of how underappreciated the group is and why the song Hip to Be Square is more than what it appears to be. He finishes his speech off by saying, "Hey, Paul!"
Hey, Paul!
Before planting an axe into his head. Okay, just trust us, you have to see it. Describing it doesn't quite do it justice. Number 9, Jurassic Park. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Being a lawyer is definitely an interesting job. However, if you have the right client, you can really bring in the money. This is especially true if your client is millionaire businessman John Hammond.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
But, as with anything, you have to weigh the risk and the reward. Unfortunately for Donald Gennaro, he didn't consider being eaten by a T-Rex a big enough risk. When we first get a glimpse of the T-Rex in the blockbuster hit Jurassic Park, there were many different reactions. Apparently, it scared the crap out of Mr. Gennaro, who immediately left the car and ran into the restroom. Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, commented, "When you gotta go, you gotta go."
Now, where does he think he's going? When you gotta go, you gotta go.
After a short foot chase where Dr. Malcolm narrowly avoids becoming dinner, the large carnivore discovers where Gennaro is, sitting on a toilet. After a brief moment of looking into each other's eyes, the T-Rex devours him right off the can. Rest in peace, Mr. Lawyer. Number 8, Return of the Jedi. Boba Fett's Last Flight. The life of a bounty hunter is tough. You chase down all sorts of people with prices on their heads and risk your own death for a good payoff. But when you finally capture a high-value bounty and then get invited to his execution, you know you've done well. Except when that bounty is Han Solo. In the scene of the movie Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett is fighting hard after Luke Skywalker works to blast his way out of his execution. Lightsaber in hand, he cuts through Jabba the Hutt's henchmen, but when he finally thinks he has a clear shot at Luke, Han Solo, blind and disoriented, saves the day by accidentally bumping into Fett's jetpack, sending him flying and landing in the dreaded Sarlacc pit. What an unfortunate way for the most prolific bounty hunter in the galaxy to die, bumped off the ledge by a blind guy. Way to go, Fett. Number 7, Happy Gilmore. Chubbs falls from window. Widely regarded as one of Adam Sandler's funniest movies, Happy Gilmore tells the story of a hockey player turned golf pro who has an incredible long drive but a terrible short game.
Son of a bitch, Paul, why didn't you just go home? That's your home!
His talent catches the eye of the golf pro Chubbs Peterson, played by Carl Weathers, who vows to teach Happy how to play golf properly, even though he only has one hand. Eventually, Chubbs succeeds and Happy becomes an amazing player. As a way of saying thank you, Gilmore decided to get him a thank you present. You see, Chubbs lost his hand to an alligator one day when he was playing golf. So, Happy traced the gator down, killed it, and put his head in a box. When Chubbs opened the box, the shock was so much, he stumbled backward and out of the window of Gilmore's apartment, falling to his death. I know what some of you are thinking. Well, that wasn't all that funny. Psst, Yeah, and Grizzly Adams had a beard. Number 6, Old School. You my boy, Blue?
Blue!
Yes, sir.
Do you trust that I do not want to see you die here tonight?
Sir, yes, sir.
Blue, you're my boy!
Thank you, sir.
There's a reason why fraternities are made for young men. They have a certain health that gives them the edge over older guys. This is made perfectly clear for us in the comedy film Old School. 3 adult friends set out to help their friend get through a divorce, so they start a small fraternity. However, it eventually turns into a legit frat at a university. They pride themselves on the fact that they throw the biggest parties and don't discriminate who can be in their club. That brings us to 80-something-year-old Blue. He becomes a member and hangs out with the young guys through all of their shenanigans. However, when it came time for a wrestling match, it became too much for him. Blue was set to wrestle in a pool full of KY jelly against 2 beautiful women. The sight of them sent his heart into a frenzy, and Blue dropped dead right there. You my boy, Blue! Number 5, Dumb and Dumber. Lloyd kills the chef. Daydreaming is something we all do. Some of us daydream more vividly than others. However, we wager that no matter how vivid your dreams are, they don't hold a candle to Lloyd Christmas in the comedy Dumb and Dumber. Played by comedic juggernaut Jim Carrey, Lloyd daydreams of wooing his romantic interest, Mary Swanson. As his dream progresses, he finds him and Swanson out to a romantic dinner. The waiter decides to make an attempt at winning the affection of Lloyd's girlfriend. Not taking kindly to it, he brings out his martial arts skills, defeating the waiter and every other challenger that comes out to fight. But from the kitchen comes the boss guy, the chef. After trying to intimidate each other, the chef takes it to Christmas, combo after combo, eventually knocking him down. It wasn't over though. Christmas resurrected, smiled at the chef, and then proceeded to rip the guy's heart out, putting it in a doggy bag and handing it back to the chef. Yeah, we don't have a closing line for this entry. Just go watch it. Number 4, Batman. Anthony got a little hot under the collar. Comic book heroes have taken Hollywood by storm over the last 15 years, but no matter which hero you side with, it is widely known that there is no villain as iconic as the Joker.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker. And as you can see, I'm a lot happier.
An evil prankster who takes joy in causing chaos, he's been played by a number of actors over the years, including the iconic performance of Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. However, one other role stands out. The 1989 Tim Burton adaptation, Batman, saw the Joker played by Jack Nicholson. In this role, the city crime ring is thrown into chaos and Nicholson's Joker makes a move to take it all over. While meeting with the various bosses, one of them, Anthony Rotelli, questioned him in open defiance. Appearing to want to resolve it in a peaceful fashion, Joker offered Rotelli a handshake. However, when Rotelli took his hand, he was met with a customized weapon called the Joy Buzzer, which proceeded to electrocute Rotelli until he was nothing but a charred corpse. The scene is marked with a number of one-liners that are meant to illustrate the joy that Joker gets from killing people. But let's be honest, they were pretty funny. Number 3, Dodgeball. Patches O'Houlihan crushed by luck of the Irish sign. Dodgeball really was a true underdog story. When the members of a small, local gym are on the verge of bankruptcy, they become desperate to come up with the money to pay off their debt and stay open. However, the mega giant gym next door has eyes to buy the gym and kick out all of their members. As a way to come up with the money, the average Joe's gym enters into a dodgeball tournament that would net them a prize large enough to cover their debts and save the gym. But as they train, they learn this sport isn't for the faint of heart. However, they are able to get a coach who is a legend in the sport, Patches O'Houlihan. After weeks of training on how to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge wrenches, the team was ready to enter the tournament. After making it to the finals, the team strolls through a casino to celebrate their victory. Little did they know, a huge sign saying, "Luck of the Irish," broke loose from the ceiling and fell on Patches, killing him instantly. I don't think Patches was Irish, so the message on the sign didn't apply to him. Still, the team went on to win the dodgeball tournament. Number 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Don't bring a sword to a gunfight. You don't have to be a genius to know that you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Unfortunately, some people think that the logic doesn't apply to swords. In an iconic scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, was chasing after his friend Marion when he was stopped by a large, scary-looking man wielding a huge sword. After some intimidating twirls and spins, Jones simply took a look at him and shoots him dead. The behind-the-scenes story of this was even more impressive. Director Steven Spielberg had originally intended there to be a crazy fight scene here. The actors had been through many takes trying to get the moves just right, but on this specific day, Harrison Ford was sick to his stomach and was incredibly weak. In an improvised move stemming from his fatigue, he just pulled out his gun and shot. It was so funny and so perfect for the scene, Spielberg left it in the final product, and we couldn't be happier. Before we get to our last entry, don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying things so far. We want to know that you enjoy the content. Now, on to number 1, Pulp Fiction. Vincent shoots Marvin. Pulp Fiction was one of the best Quentin Tarantino ever made. He has such a flair for weaving comedy into raw and violent stories. This scene was no exception. Here, we find 3 guys who have just left an apartment after escaping death. Jules, Vincent, and Marvin are driving along and contemplating the events that just unfolded. As Vincent, played by John Travolta, turns around to talk to Marvin in the back seat, he's holding a gun in his hand. He continues to talk, not knowing the gun is pointed directly at Marvin's face. Suddenly, the gun goes off, sending an exaggerated amount of blood and brain matter exploding all over the car.
You gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped it?
Oh, what's happening? Oh, man.
The dialogue between the 2 dumbfounded criminals plays perfectly as neither one of them is shocked by the death of Marvin. Rather, they just need to get the blood cleaned up so that they can get on with their day. We love Vincent and Jules. The race car in the red and the mushroom cloud laying, mother shut your mouth. Do you agree with our list? Were there other hilarious deaths that you would have liked to see? Be sure to leave a comment down below to let us know. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for us. We'll see you next time.